Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War. We've just fought the granddaddy of them all, the Battle of Gettysburg, and we won that battle handsomely. Our army did suffer very heavy casualties there. You can see we lost over 20,000 infantry, but the enemy lost more than 40,000. Very bloody. Actually, those are pretty close to historically accurate Union casualties, in spite of the Confederate ones being substantially higher. We have still only lost the one battle, that being the supply raid, which we fought with troops that were not of our own. With the career points we got from Gettysburg, we went ahead and maxed out our, was it our politics? Or no, we increased our medicine. So our politics are maxed out, economy and medicine are almost maxed out. Training and army org are both very high. Logistics and recon have kind of been neglected to this point. With that being said, we have not yet rebuilt the army ahead of the Battle of Chickamaugua. We have 12,300 recruits that we can use to replace some of our casualties. The 20,000 casualties that we did suffer, some of those are offset by walking wounded coming back. We get 16% right now, I believe, of our injured soldiers come back every battle to their units without having to spend any money or anything like that. So that's a positive. But we still got a lot of work, and I don't think our army is going to be able to be at full strength by Chickamaugua. That said, we're going to fight the Battle of Bayou Forche tonight. The siege of Vicksburg has ended, and now the Union armies can be assigned other expeditions across the country. We have been ordered to capture Little Rock, Arkansas, and add it to the list of conquered towns that had seceded from the Union. One cavalry division is already advancing toward Little Rock, south of the city. At Bayou Forche, there are strongly entrenched Confederates behind the Arkansas River. If we repulse those forces, then Little Rock will fall easily, and the Southerners west of the Mississippi River will be demoralized and separated from the Confederate lands. So that's going to be the battle we're fighting. Let's go back into the army camp. I'm not going to immediately do all of our rebuilding exercises with the 1st and 2nd Corps. The 1st Corps lost the most heavy in terms of men, or maybe it was the 2nd Corps. 1st or 2nd, they both lost pretty heavily. The 3rd Corps was relatively unengaged, and they're going to be the corps we're going to use for Bayou Forche. We can bring 15 brigades to battle. The 3rd Corps is exactly 15 brigades, so they're going to get the priority replacements. Some of these brigades have actually, without necessarily intending it, some of these brigades have actually grown to be incredibly good soldiers. This brigade, Post's brigade, look at the efficiency, the morale, the stamina. They're all very high in terms of all of those traits. Sean Hines' brigade, a little bit less so, but certainly not green. They're like double the effectiveness of green soldiers. And Stark's brigade as well is kind of up there. We're going to replace all these troops up to 2,000 men. We're going to try and do it all with veteran soldiers. They're going to be less expensive than replacing our 1st and 2nd Corps soldiers with veterans. So we'll see how this all works out. You can see we're using, 6, 7, 10,000, but we have about 300 grand to spend. Granted, we don't want to spend all of it on one corps because we do need to rebuild the other corps before we get to the Battle of Chickamauga. But for now, we're just going to focus on this 3rd Corps. If you haven't noticed already, I have replaced General McClellan as the commander of the 3rd Corps with myself. I swapped McClellan up to command the 1st Corps, and I've taken the honor of commanding the 3rd Corps, largely because McClellan is further on his way to rank of 4-star general. John Gibbon is just barely further on his way to rank of 4-star general, and so I want to get myself to 4-star general before either of them. I'm not actually sure if you can get to 4 stars, though, because you've only got 3 leader traits you can earn. So when you max this all out, I'm not sure what happens, but I at least want to be the highest ranked officer on the field. So that's what I'm going to make sure happens. Meanwhile, you can see here I'm replacing the casualties that we've lost. We're spending about 10 grand, it feels, about brigade. That's a little bit pricey, but I'm okay with it. We can always spend a little bit of our reputation to gain some more resources here. And just like that, we've already replaced all of our casualties. We need to go ahead and assign this unit's marksmanship training, because that's kind of what I always go with. And then Pegram's brigade lost its commander, so we're going to go ahead and put, well, it looks like Pegram's healthy again, so I'll go ahead and put Jesse Pegram back in charge of his own brigade. We've got maxed out artillery, not quite maxed out infantry brigades, but we also have one cavalry unit, which we're going to go ahead and pull. I want to say we'll pull Latimer's Cavalry Brigade, because while they're a little bit more experienced than Torbert, they've got the Palmetto single-shot pistols with sabers. They're not quite as well armed, so we'll put them in kind of a holding position in the 3rd Corps. We're going to bring one brigade down from the 1st Corps I'm debating it being the Springfield Brigade. Let's see. If we want to replace these guys with vets, it's going to cost us almost $50,000 to replace these guys with veteran troops. Now, some of that's also because we need 500 men. We only have 200 of their guns in stock, so we've got to buy some of these guns. But that's $50,000. That's a lot. I don't think I'm gonna risk that, but I am gonna go ahead and rearm those troops and spend that money. Maybe we go with the Irish Brigade. With the Irish Brigade, we only need 70 replacements, so that's thankful because they're very experienced, and it's only 5,000 to give them all veterans, so we'll go ahead and do that. The Iron Brigade, another very experienced brigade. We'll get them up to 2,000 men as well. We could make our brigades larger, by the way. Our brigades can be as large as 2,500 men at this time, but I don't want to do that quite yet, just mainly because, let's see here, I just don't have the manpower to replace my existing casualties, let alone increase the manpower on some of these units here. So I'm probably going the wrong route with some of these brigades being, all veteran replacements, but it is what it is. I'm trying to outfit as much of my force with veterans as we can. I'm tired of losing all that experience. We lose quite a few casualties, and then we end up having these brigades have to gain all their experience right back again if they fight a tough battle. I can spend a little bit of reputation to get a little bit more money if I need to, although I'd rather save that for more manpower. But we'll see what it is. Let's see here. We've almost rebuilt the First Corps. Although Meagher's brigade's going to have to go with rookies. There's just, I'm not going to put 1,500 veterans into position. What we'll do actually is we'll use the Meagher's brigade and we'll go ahead and put it in the Third Corps. They'll be kind of the filler brigade. We got to go ahead and re-sign their commander, which I think Meagher survived, didn't he? Maybe he was killed actually. So we'll give him Joel Iverson. So we'll have Meagher's brigade of relatively inexperienced troops attempt to gain a little bit more experience in this next fight. Okay. Cavalry is also relatively inexperienced, so we'll just kind of replace them as is. They still cost some money for the horses. First three divisions are all back, minus the brigade we just stripped. We can always assign this Latimer's brigade to the First Corps in the meantime, just so we don't forget about it. So the First Corps is almost back to full strength. Kind of replacing what's left of these units. And we'll kind of see where we're at after the next fight. The First Corps won't need any reinforcements because it's going to be all back up to max strength, as you can see here. The Second Corps is pretty badly shot up as well, though. Okay. Price, is he still alive? Yes, Seth Price, there he is. We'll give him his brigade back as much as we can. I like continuity of officers. Black Hat's brigade is an elite brigade. We'll give him a major general just because we've got more major generals than we know what to do with. And there you have it. The First and the Third Corps are now both fully rebuilt. It's also worth noting that Chickamauga is a 2-corps battle. We're not allowed to bring 3 corps to the fight, so we don't actually need to replace all of our casualties. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to bring 3 corps to bear anyway, so, make sure you just replace the losses of the soldiers that you're bringing to the fight, I guess. Vincent was killed, unfortunately, so we'll have to go ahead and spend some money replacing some officers who were killed at Gettysburg, replacing them with some colonels. You can see here we've got quite a few soldiers that are... Quite a few soldiers that need to be replaced in the Second Corps, but again, the Second Corps is not my focus. I know I'm kind of messing around with some traits at the moment, but not really the focus of this this rebuild. I'm just making sure I don't forget about all of these units' second-tier trait. They've all become second-tier brigades. Well, it kind of makes me wonder if adding that trait makes them more expensive to replace once I get to it. Anywho, alright, so a badly shot up Second Corps. This Second Corps may be the corps we end up leaving behind for Chickamauga, depending on how this next fight goes. We'd probably take one of the divisions and assign it to it, but I'm not sure. Anyway, as far as this particular fight's concerned, the 3rd Corps, under me, George B. Gamer, is going to be the corps that we're going to bring to battle. So, that being said, second here, why does it keep doing this? All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the battle in just a moment. We'll leave the remainder of the rebuild and the reinforcements and all of that for the next video, or the next fight before the Battle of Chickamaugua. So Bayou Forche is going to be the next fight. We'll go ahead and hit start. I'll worry about spending reputation and things like that before the next fight. You can see the 3rd Corps, 15 brigades is the max, and we will start the fight in just a moment. And we are going to be fighting on September 10th, 1863. The siege of Vicksburg has ended, and now the Union armies can be assigned to other expeditions across the country. Arkansas is an important capital of the state. Or, sorry, we have been ordered to capture Little Rock. Arkansas, oh my god. Fuck. Yes. Coherent sentences. Important for live streaming. We've been ordered to capture Little Rock, Arkansas, an important capital of a state that has seceded from the Union. One cavalry division is already advancing toward Little Rock, south of the city. At Bayou Forche, the Confederates are strongly entrenched behind the Arkansas River. If we repulse those forces, then Little Rock will fall easily, and the Southerners west of the Mississippi River will be completely separated from the Confederate mainland and will be demoralized. Okay? So you can see here that we're bringing the 3rd Corps to bear, all 15 brigades, maxes out our force. We have 25,141 soldiers against 22,973 Confederates, 120 Confederate guns versus 73 guns of our own. We have 3 divisions, 1 corps. They have probably 1 corps, and I assume a reasonably similar amount of divisions. You can see we're going to have to attack across a river, so this could get rather difficult. You can see it looks like there's some fords across the river here and here, but we may want to try swinging way north and crossing up here as well. I've got kind of shades of Bull Run 1 when you try and storm across a narrow bridge or a narrow walkway and have to deal with Confederates on the other side. So we'll see how they're set up, but we may want to consider a wide flanking maneuver if we have the time. Alright, so we're going to bring the 3rd Corps to bear with myself in command, and we'll go ahead and fight. And yes, we are a little bit on the drink, but certainly not drunk. You know, just General Grant style. Oh god. The rebels hold a strong position north of the river. Look at this damn fort. It's covered. Even if we flank them to the north, there's just earthworks everywhere. Okay. There are 3 available fords to cross the river. Here, here, and here. That's the briefings could use a little bit of work here. It looks like they also have defensive works up north as well. God. Part of your force have landed on the small island and will soon join the attack. Okay. And the main body of your army will attack from this direction. In order to dislodge the Confederates, you need to develop a cautious rather than a bold strategy. Good luck, General. Cautious? What? Okay, so we've got 10 of our brigades assigned here instantly. My concern with advancing south is I would assume the Confederates will have troops in this forested area. If they don't, it would be great to advance through the forest up against Confederates dug in, but I'm not sure. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull one of our infantry brigades from the initial deployment and deploy a cavalry brigade, because I'm going to try and scout the enemy out. This is one of those rare times where I feel like having cavalry is useful. I don't know if they can cross here. I guess they can. Presumably they can, right? Alright, so we're going to kind of... I don't know if I want to hold in position or what, because if we... I wish I could deploy on this little island area. But we'll go ahead and start and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we've got 3.5 hours to capture the Bayou Fort. Apparently I can't cross the river there. That's awesome. So my cavalry has to go these away and that away. Which they're definitely going to be under fire if they do that the whole way. Shit. Shit, guys! Fire the missiles! We could try flanking north, but then we'd be advancing across an open field against Duggan Confederates. But at least we could bring our whole army to bear, so I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and take our cavalry. We'll scout to the north. We're going to go ahead and move our infantry units that way, too. We'll try and move north. It's not the most direct route, but hopefully it's the less well-defended route. By the looks of it, the enemy does have a entrenchment position up there as well. So that may make this a futile effort. I'm not going to detach skirmishers initially from my infantry because I'm going to use my cavalry kind of as a scout. So the hope would be that, you know, we don't need to detach infantry because we've got men on horses. And we're going to leave one brigade down here in the south to kind of guard. We're also going to go ahead and bring our artillery up and have them in these woods. Hopefully they can see and fire at the rebel positions from just across the way. And our supply wagon will also go up the meandering road to the north. Meanwhile, George B. Gamer, you'll go ahead and ride up into the middle there. Alright, so maybe our reinforcements will come in on this island down here. Kind of the way the scenario briefing was written, it sounds like they may come through the southern part of the ford. That's my hope. Okay. Alright, so there does appear to be an observation post here. Attack the defenses! Okay. You can see here we've got our reserve corps, or reserve brigades are coming up here. So I think what we'll do is we'll try and send some of these up this ford. There's kind of some choke points here, so we're going to put them through the woods. We are going to detach skirmishers for these guys. Because frankly, we should. We're actually going to use a lot of skirmishers here. Just to kind of feel out where the rebels are at. And we're going to leave one of these skirmisher units kind of on this observation point. Artillery will also be up here. So yeah, you can see the enemy has dug in a brigade here extending into these woods. If we can dislodge that brigade, I think we'll be in good shape. But that may be tricky, as this is clearly a very steep hill by the looks of it. Alright, so we're going to kind of have pepper them with skirmishers. Maybe we can go around this road or kind of flank them. I'm not sure. Meleeing them may also be the best option. Let's have some cavalry scout for it a bit, too. If the enemy's going to... I'm assuming they've got infantry here. Yeah, they do. So I can't just charge this artillery as much as I'd like to. But if they're going to bring some infantry out, or some artillery out of the works, it might make sense to try and snipe at them a bit. Oh shit, skirmishers over here. Goddamn. Alright. Well, now that they're not going that way, guess we can move north. My troops are really bottled up there in the south, though. Iverson's brigade just sitting there? Didn't I order them to do something? Alright, so how are our skirmishers doing? Not great. Alright. You guys start moving a bit. Enemy also has artillery in this wood line here. That's great. So we really are kind of charging through. Ah, shit. Skirmishers! Cavalry, get up there. I didn't expect him to be deployed this side of the river. Okay. Wow, they really have a lot of troops this side of the river. I thought they'd be mostly bottled up in their defenses. Clearly, I was wrong. Don't expose your flank. Bad idea. Alright. Alright, so... Cavalry, go deal with those guys. Nice. Alright, so hopefully our cavalry deals with them. We'll move our supply wagons up. Our artillery's already bombarding and losing a lot of fucking men. 70 casualties already? Eeks. Granted, I think some of that was to enemy skirmishers. Alright. Enemy skirmishers have surrendered. That's great. Meanwhile, our attack here in the southern portion of the battlefield is not going well. Post Brigade failed to dislodge Hawthorne, broke and ran. Hooker's losing more men than he's inflicting casualties on. Huh, interesting. Hawthorne's retreating now. Well, in that case, get the fuck up into those woods. Alright. Hooker's pushing back. They've got some cavalry just sitting in this wooded area, but at least we're driving back the artillery that was on our flank. You're going to halt here, and you're going to engage these dug-in men. Then these other brigades coming up are going to charge into them to just overwhelm them. Skirmishers withdraw. That's more or less just kind of fixing the enemy in position. Posts recovering, so get back up there. Hindle's small, I don't know if it's a brigade or they look like actually a skirmisher unit. Hopefully is being overwhelmed. Nelson's getting hit in the flank by Hawthorne. But at least we have some troops up here now. Okay, charge the skirmishers. Alright. Multiple units are going to now charge. These guys are going to close the range and just shoot into them. A lot of enemy cavalry around here. More enemy skirmishers have surrendered. Go ahead and withdraw them from the battlefield, but move Hawthorne north. Got a lot of fucking horsemen around here. Alright, so I think we're hitting this brigade relatively well. Hooker and Iverson move forward. I hope we have more than 2 hours. I'm guessing we don't. I'm guessing 2 hours is the total allotted time for this particular battle. Alright, bring the skirmishers up, move the artillery closer. Maybe they can fire from that observation point. I'm curious if we move Platt forward to try and engage these enemies, what happens. Alright, so we've overrun them. And now we just need to move our infantry forward. There's some troops that aren't exhausted yet. I don't think I ordered everybody to run. Okay, that enemy cavalry, the Texas Cav, is retreating. Here in the south, Platt is not doing so well. Alright, Iverson, you're going to come in on the flank now. Oh, geez, I didn't realize the enemy was dug in here. Alright. Hawthorne's routing from his position. Nelson, shoot your goddamn volley off at these guys as they run. Getting hit by artillery in the rear is Iverson, but... There you go. And there you go. Nice. Alright, so now we're going to advance south. Our cavalry is kind of probably in over its head chasing this infantry. But let's just get our troops going. Get our supply wagons up there with them. Artillery can kind of keep bombarding from a distance, so go ahead and get our general up there to provide some morale support. And there you have it. There's some skirmishers up front. Move our own troops over here. Torbert. Ah! Our cavalry surrendered, alright. That's unfortunate. Alright. We're not going to be able to oh god. This is just about suicide mission. I just don't know where I can really feasibly attack from. Maybe through this wood line again, but I mean, we're losing like 10-to-1 casualties against the guys in these defensive works. All right. Run. Everybody's exhausted. Yeah, the issue is getting to those gaps on the east. Iverson, his unit's actually doing well. Routing that enemy artillery battery. Then move in here. Yikes, Crocker's getting hit hard. Alright, you're gonna need some morale boost here. We've got an hour or so to try and overrun them. If we can crack one of these lines, I think we'll be in relatively good shape. Drury's going to engage this artillery because it's outside the ramparts. Actually, 2 batteries are. I just don't have any, like, energy to charge. That's my biggest concern with charging, is I don't have any... Crocker retreated instantly, pretty much. Vaughn didn't have any energy to charge. All these troops are probably too exhausted to melee. Let's see here. 3 brigades firing into them. And at least this... Alright, they've been driven back, it looks like. Knocked out of their entrenched positions. Get inside the works there. You can shoot into the rear of Tappan here. Meanwhile, we've got some of these other guys kind of pinned in position. Okay, Tappan's retreating. We're through! We're through! We've broken through! Parsons is, for whatever reason, not sitting in his defenses. Where their infantry is running off to, I don't know. Platt, you're gonna go deal with Pagan. Make sure they don't come up behind us. Alright. Routed them from behind a bit. Alright. Well, this was a bloody affair, I think. It's hard to get a true sense of it, but definitely lost a couple thousand men so far. Have about an hour left. Feels like we're about to take these positions. Alright, and we've taken it. Not sure if the enemy is all retreating south here so they can quickly counterattack us. Go ahead and pull Hooker back. You should get into the fort here. Hopefully. He can guard the eastern approach versus any Confederate cavalry trying to come in behind us. Nelson likewise should be able to cover that. Okay. Pegram's getting chewed up to the north here. Alright, so Hooker, you retreat this way. Post, you're actually in really good cover. Just shoot at those guys below you, same as the skirmishers. But now we've kind of got to deal with this counterattack that's coming. Arkansas Cav. Crocker, get in these defenses, because I'm sure Pegram's going to be retreating very shortly. Meanwhile, Hines, Iverson, Vaughn, keep advancing. Dark, take up defenses in there. Kind of I'm shearing off my brigades as they push the enemy back. I'm shearing them off to take up defensive works. Hopefully they can regain some morale. See, most of these guys' morale is actually pretty darn good. Oh, yikes. Alright, so that... Wow! That artillery battery died. Nice and dead. Okay. That's getting hit from the rear. Alright, so now our troops are in the defensive works and our troops own the woods. Now the enemy has got to try and counterattack against us. With about 30 minutes left, I'm hoping this fight is won. Pegram lost very heavily. He lost 1,000 men, about 1,000 between Dury and Crocker. Another 1,000 between these three brigades. Yeah, we lost about 4,000, maybe 4.5 is my guess. Now we will get about, you know, 600 to 700 of that back. We're also going to get 6,000 reinforcements, so we should end slightly stronger than where we started. They're certainly going to get point-blank targets here, Morgan and Walker. Alright, Platt, finish off this artillery battery. Canister fire from Morgan. Rarely do you see counter battery canister fire, but I approve it. Alright. Now my guns look like they were able to take care of themselves mostly. Just gotta hope that the enemy infantry doesn't deal with our guns. Our guns are pretty low on ammo. Pegram is really getting chewed up. Meanwhile, enemy are now approaching the fort. To try and counterattack. I think Pegram's brigade's going to be gone too here, probably before the end of the fight. But at least he's diverted the majority of the Confederate effort away from us. Run, Platt, you're going to fire into McRae's flank. You can do more damage over there, I think. Okay, 7 minutes left. I think we're safe by now. Well, they don't call me the Butcher for nothing, guys. I'm sure my general, or my soldiers were thrilled when they heard that I was replacing McClellan for this fight. I would be taking personal charge of their fates. I think we may have actually lost... Well, maybe not. I was going to say it felt like a battle where maybe we actually lost more than the enemy, but maybe not. Our guns over here still haven't been touched. Granted, they've blown almost all their ammo for like a few hundred casualties inflicted. Not even a few hundred, less than 100, look like. 41. Alright, victory, there you go. Bayou Forche. We lost 5,800 men to 5,900 Confederates, so nearly even casualties. That sucks. 484 captured cavalrymen on our end, so we did lose one brigade. In terms of captured stuff, we captured 19 enemy 12-pound howitzers. That's nice. That's basically a full battery right there. Bunch of other small numbers of other stuff I'm not going to use. Some Harper's Ferries. Those are reasonably nice. All right, well, all told, it's a victory. Another victory. We also gained 558 more recruits due to our captured enemy troops, in addition to the 6,300. So we lost 5,800 men, but ended about 1,000 stronger than we otherwise would have been. We're going to go ahead and add army organization so we can have 6 brigades per division, and that's strategic, or tactical, I guess strategic, because Chickamauga, we can only have 2 corps in this battle. So the upcoming Grand Battle of Chickamauga will limit how many troops we're actually able to bring to bear, which means let's make sure we've got the most we can fit in a single corps. We can have up to 25 brigades in each corps, so let's use them. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and have myself back in the 1st Corps, I think it is. I think we're going to bring that corps to battle. So we'll go ahead and replace myself briefly to buy a brigadier. Great. We'll go ahead and put myself in charge there, the 1st Corps, and the 3rd Corps will go back to McClellan. All right, so we gained a little bit of experience there. I don't know if I'm going to use the second or the first. I've still got some rebuilding to do. I've got 11,000 more recruits I can use. I've also got 30,000 more, or 30 more reputation I can spend on 6,000 more recruits. So we should be able to build this force completely out. In addition to that, we could buy more money with some reputation as well. We've only got about $100,000. This whole first corps is full, except we need to add a brigade to every division. So we're going to go ahead and strip those brigades. I don't know where we're going to pull them from. Probably the third corps, because the third corps isn't all the way built up. Now this particular brigade here is largely inexperienced. Nelson's commanding it, Clifton Nelson. So we'll just go with rookies there. Hooker's brigade got chewed up pretty bad, but again, mostly rookies. So we'll do that. Iverson, he's a little bit more experienced. Let's spend a little bit of money to keep his troops where they're at. 4,500. So we'll go ahead and assign these 3 brigades to the first corps. And I think we'll assign one more brigade. These guys are pretty experienced too, so keep them. Alright, so the first corps is now fully built out. 6 brigades per division, 1 cavalry regiment, and that's 2,000 men per brigade, 96 guns between the 4 divisions, and overall, I think in pretty good shape. The second corps still needs to be rebuilt. Now that we're stripping units from the third corps, we'll need to go ahead and rebuild the second corps. So it's just going to be too expensive for some of these units to use veterans. Rookies are really going to cripple some of these units like Mass's brigade, but just going to have to bite the bullet and do it. So we've got enough men. But what we're going to do here, this is a 2-star brigade, so rather than do all rookies, let's mix and match a bit. Come on. Give me that experience perk. God. I'm going to have to do mostly veterans anyway. I mean, not mostly. About half. Alright. So we can do 237 rookies.
Yes, sir.
The rest are going to be vets. It'll cost us a pretty penny.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Sedgwick's Corps Brigade, whatever's going to be expensive. There's not a lot of room there. I'll spend for his brigade. Probably won't spend for others. Carroll's maybe as well, if I've got the money. But actually, Carroll has a fair... He can take a decent hit and still be 2-star. So we'll do 506 rookies there. Save us, you know, $15,000. And then 463 veterans. Sherman. We're going to do something similar with Sherman. I'm sure this is enthralling viewing for all of you. Watching me kind of max up my... Yeah, I do have quite a few major generals leading brigades. My guys get promoted because we win battles and we do well, and then they end up commanding brigades because they don't have anywhere else for my major generals to be, frankly. You know, I don't have open divisions. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode, episode 47 I think we're at now, of our Ultimate General Civil War Let's Play. We've just won the Battle of Bayou Forche, and we're marching forward toward the Battle of Chickamaugua. That was an interesting fight, strong enemy positions that we had overcome. Now we're in the process of rebuilding our forces. But we will deal with that next time. We're already 40 plus minutes here today, so I'm going to go ahead and take a step back. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.